Yo, big shout out my Chinese fans, my Ni Hao gang. You guys listen, in just 2 weeks, September 21st, I will be in attendance at the 2025 Huangji China Pro. Not only will I be in attendance, I will also be competing. Yes, I will be competing 2 weeks out from the 2025 Mr. Olympia contest.
And am I fired up about today's video? Some of the news that's been dropped in the men's physique world over the last 72 hours is massive, and I can't wait to dive into it. The first one, let's kick it off with this guy. Three-time Mr. Olympia champion Brandon Hendrickson has decided to throw his hat in the ring and compete at the China Pro 2 weeks before the Mr. Olympia. Now, this is unheard of, especially in the recent era. You rarely see Mr. Olympia champions jumping on stage throughout the year, let alone 2 weeks out before the big dance, but this guy's decided to do it. The reason behind it, only he knows, because to me, it doesn't make any sense. But Brandon must have something brewing behind the scenes for him to want to do this one. Now, there may be a few reasons as to why I believe Brandon is jumping into this show. The first one being, Brandon has a huge fan base in China. The Chinese love him. They love big waves. They love Brandon Hendrickson. So this could be an attempt to get more eyeballs on him leading into the show, increase his fan base over there, which is, I mean, let's be real. The more eyeballs on Brandon, the more people that love him, the better it is for him. The second one, which also leads into this, is the fact that his sponsor, Yamamoto, has a massive presence in the Asian market. So could Yoda Hill have bumped up his paycheck to get him over there in China, doing the show, getting more eyeballs on the brand? Only he knows. And then leading into this is the prize money. There could have been a big prize check. There might be a big prize check associated with this show. Brandon could be doing what Andre Ferguson has been vocal about over the last month and just collecting some easy checks. I mean, why not? If there's some good money on the line for a quick little show, the guy's in shape. The guy's obviously confident enough to do this because there is a massive risk involved in him traveling over to China to do this show. But if the guy's confident and he knows he's going to get an easy check, then I guess why not? Now, like I said, this is a big risk for Brandon, because imagine going all the way to China, being confident in yourself, and then coming runner-up in this show. I don't personally think this is going to happen, but this is the world of bodybuilding. This is the world of men's physique. And what if it does happen? What does it do to Brandon mentally? This will play mind games on him. Imagine going into the Olympia 2 weeks later, not being able to win this show. It's gonna be a massive weight on his shoulder, because you can only imagine what's gonna go through his head. I mean, I'm sure Brandon is a fighter, he's a competitor, and it won't faze him. But we know if you're not winning the China Pro, chances are you're not winning that fourth title. So it is a big risk. But then think of it on the flip side. This is a bit of a preparation sort of peak week. It could be a preparation peak week for him. Get the confidence up, win the show, come home with a nice big check. You got an extra spring in your step leading into the Olympia. So it is, like I said, it is a bit of a risk, but if it pays off, it is going to work in Brandon's favor. Now, the next topic of discussion is arguably the biggest news that dropped this week, and that was in regards to the 2026 Olympia qualification rules. And boy, oh boy, is there a lot to dissect on this one. Now, the new point system is going to come into play for classic physique, men's physique, bikini, and wellness, but obviously this is a men's physique YouTube channel, so let's just discuss the men's physique one. Now, if you've been following the Olympia for a while now, you know that men's physique is one of the fastest growing divisions of the lot. Now, I just looked at how many competitors have qualified for this year's. Now, I did see a page that said 52, but after going onto the IFBB official website, there are 72 competitors qualified for this year's competition. Can you imagine how jam-packed that stage is going to be this year? So with the inclusion of these new rules set to come into effect from next year, it changes the game, because if you're probably reading the screen as I'm talking to you right now, only the top 25 in the point standing will qualify for the Olympia. So think about it. The 72 that have qualified for this year's, that's going to be more than halved coming into 2026, which is actually quite exciting. Now, there are a number of ways for these athletes to qualify for the Olympia. The beauty about this is these changes are going to make the Mr. Olympia prestigious again, because at the moment it feels like there is an Olympia qualifier happening every single week, and it's way too many. It's way too many. It doesn't feel prestigious anymore. It just feels like, and I'm not going to say this, I don't want people to be offended about this, but it feels like every Tom, Dick, and Harry is qualifying for the Olympia. Yes, I know it's hard. I wish that I could qualify for the Olympia, but it just seems like there are so many competitors on there. There's just so many shows happening at the moment. There's more Olympia qualification shows than there are McDonald's franchises in the US at the moment. That's kind of what it feels like. But the way that you can qualify for the Olympia now is through a number of different ways. Number one is going to be if you come top 3 in the Olympia, which I think is fair. If you come in top 3 in the Olympia, then it makes sense. Like, you should get an automatic qualification. Now, the next way to get qualified is if you win one of the 5 big shows, which are going to be the Arnold Classic the Arnold Classic USA, the New York Pro, the Pittsburgh Pro, the Romania Muscle Fest, and the Dubai Pro. So for that one, only first place gets qualified for the O. And then from there, it is a point system, with the exception that if you win 2 IFBB shows in a season, you will automatically qualify for the Olympia as well. And I think that's fair too. If you're winning 2 IFBB shows, that shows that you are a pretty good competitor. So you deserve to be at the show. Now, this is great for the spectator, but not so great for the athlete. And let me tell you why. If you're a spectator or a watcher or a viewer of the men's physique division, this is going to now force your favorite competitors to get off their ass, travel around, and fight for their spot on the Olympia stage, which is great. And this could involve these competitors competing 2, 3, 4, maybe even 5 times in a season to get enough points to qualify for the show. What it means for the athlete, though, is now their seasons are going to run for a lot longer. Meaning, instead of having to just do a handful of shows and then just getting your qualification that way, you're going to need to extend your preps and travel around the US and maybe even international as well in order to qualify and get enough points for your spot on the Olympia stage. So this is great. I personally think this is a good move by the IFBB, because only the best of the best are going to be on that stage. What it's also going to mean, though, for the athletes is they may need to play strategy now. They're going to need to be strategic with what shows they're going to be doing moving forward. So personally, from a men's physique lover, viewer of the division, I like what's going to be happening, because it's going to make things interesting now. It's going to make the guys who are sitting from 10th to even all the way down to the end, it's going to make them work harder, fight harder to get those points and get on that stage. So yeah, I like this move. I think it's going to be here to stay. And no matter how the IFBB went about this, no matter how they wanted to bring down the numbers and whatever system they used, there was always going to be controversy. There was always going to be people who love it and people who hate it. So let me actually know in the comments. If you're a fan of these new rules, if you don't like the rules, tell me why. Tell me if you like the rules, tell me why as well. But I want to know. I want to know what you guys think about these new changes to the Olympia qualification process. Now, all us Olympia fans know about all the rivalries that we've seen on stage over the last decade. We've had Ronnie Coleman versus Jay Cutler. We've had Phil Heath versus Kai Green. And in 2025, the newest rivalry we have is between Ali Bilal and Ryan Terry, and I absolutely love this. Now, as we get closer and closer and closer to the show, these two guys are really starting to turn it up, and I'm all about it. Now, a couple of weeks ago, Ryan Terry uploaded a photo in the gym with a black t-shirt on with the words "and still," written across his chest. And we all know the minute we hear Bob Ciccarello say "and still," we know that that Olympia title is going back to the current holder. Terry also stated that he won the last year's Olympia at 93% of his potential, meaning that he wasn't even 100% at the show. Now, the master of mind games, Ali Bilal, took full advantage of that last week as he uploaded a photo of himself in a black t-shirt with that percentage screaming at everyone written across his chest. With that, the caption of "he only needs 7% more and he's taken home the title" now shows that Ali's starting to turn things up, and really, he's actually trying, or it looks like he's playing mind games with Ryan Terry. If he's not going to beat him physically, he may as well beat him mentally. But that being said, Ryan Terry does not look fazed by this because he is looking sharper and sharper and sharper every single week. We know Ryan Terry's a gentleman. He's keeping his emotions to himself. He's not saying anything online. He's not being vocal about it. He's just in the gym doing the work. And by the looks of it, and from what he's actually said, he's going to come in sharper and no one is taking that crown off him. So I'm loving what I'm seeing between these two because it's going to set the stage for an epic final when that Olympia time comes around. Now, if you've made it to the end of this one, I truly do appreciate you. It does truly mean the world. So if you could do me one little favor, that would be to subscribe to this channel. As we get closer and closer to the Olympia, I'm going to be ramping up the amount of videos that I pump out for you guys. So if you're someone who wants to stay in the loop, stay tuned and keep up with all the news leading up to the O. But other than that, thank you again for being a part of this journey, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.